we are in a moment here that really, honestly, human beings are going to remember for a long time. We are at a kind of a crazy moment in kind of human history, I would go so far, as in that we are really opening up now what I would call the age of AI. Now, AI has been around for a little bit. We'll chat about that later. But what's happened in the last 6 months has blown this open in a way that I think we just have to step and pause for a minute, which is, humans are now going to go from this point forward working closely with intelligent machines. Now, we've had a previous breakthrough when humans, went from their own muscle power and kind of horsepower, horses, to essentially cracking a new technology of mechanical engines, which then allowed us to leverage and augment our power and to get like 200 horses working for us in an engine. And we saw what that led to, the Industrial Revolution and crazy kind of scaling up around the planet and create the world that we got today. We'll put it this way. Humans have just come across another threshold. Up until now, anything that had to do with intelligence had to be done by a human brain. And yet what's happened in the last, you could say, right recently here, is now we are opening up an age where the machines can actually do intelligent things. And that is a step change in actually what human beings can do, and it's going to have profound implications, which we're going to start touching on. Now, what happened, I know you folks have actually been using AI, and other companies have used it, and the governments have used it for a while, but what happened in the last 6 months was the emergence of generative AI. And the reason this is so important is essentially the advent of this generative AI essentially opened up AI to everyone. I mean everyone. In a way, we had basically 100 million people basically tried it out in the first 2 months, actually, when ChatGPT came through in November there. And the reason that's important is just like the internet. In fact, the only comparable thing I think we've been through is the internet, and I think this is going to be a bigger deal. And as you mentioned, I was in the early days of that internet, which I'll get into later. But we had the internet before that. In fact, the military had the internet as early as the 70s. Companies and governments had been using some form of the internet. But it was opening up the internet to everybody with the World Wide Web and the kind of easy access to the internet that exploded and actually opened up the digital revolution that all you and the kind of what we call the digital transformation that businesses are still working with today. And so it's that comparable thing. Once you open up a game-changing technology like to everybody, that's when the explosion became. And that's what happened.